Hey, I'm back, baby.
This an all-out blitz, real hard hits, them other podcast trash, we gon' make them all quit. We cover all the topics with intelligence and logic. I know you wanna score, but ID gon' stop it. We from Texas, so that mean that we Texans. Breaking down the X's and O's, our profession. No complaining, just training, you see the progression. They had a Pro Bowl for talk shows, we get selected. We gon' celebrate every win like a birthday. Ray J with the news, first with all the updates. Spin move on the competition, yeah, we juking them. You not really in touch if you not tuning in. This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown, we not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they bout to stampede.
Houston, Texas, what up?
What up?
What up?
What up?
What up?
What up?
Hey!
Can you hear Kershaw? Can you hear us?
Oh, looks like you just lost
Can you hear
audio,
me?
huh?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, my bad. All right, what up, everybody? Welcome to Texans Fan Battle Podcast. We got a special guest tonight. Before I get to him and get to my amazing trio, we got the beard like Slim Thug, A1 Day One. Talk to him.
What is up, everybody? Glad to be here.
All right. We got the man on the spaces, the Reddick, the man behind the camera, behind the scene. He loved Batman. We got Brown Chabert here.
What's going on, guys? Michael Keaton for the win.
All right, before we, and also give credit to B, dope intro. That was all B's doing. So
Yes,
clap,
yes, it
B.
was.
Golf
Yes, it
clap.
was. All right, cool. All right, so tonight we got Texans reporter, ESPN reporter. We got Mr. DJ Bien-Aime. Talk to him. Hello?
Can you hear us, DJ?
I don't think he can hear us.
DJ, you there?
You sleep?
I don't know if he.
Are you freeze?
No, he's not. He's not frozen. He can't hear us because he's looking at his phone.
Can you hear us?
us? He can't hear us.
How about now? Can you hear us? No? Hello.
How about now?
Technical difficulties. We'll be right with you.
Give us a few moments, guys. Can you hear us
You
now?
good?
He can't hear anything. Oh,
Yeah, I think he's gonna start it back. He's gonna get back on.
yeah, I think he's going to restart. Sorry, guys. Got to give it a minute. Let DJ come right back in.
We have a comment. Yeah, we did. We talked, and all of a sudden, B's intro was so dope. It broke the steam.
It broke the internet.
Where'd it go? Just like we're on and breaking Twitter.
Hey. Yeah, it happens sometimes.
So when he
It's
comes
all
back,
good.
Chris, when he comes back, we'll just start.
Hear y'all now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can hear y'all now.
Easier to-
All right, perfect.
all right.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Okay.
Yeah, we good now.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I was saying, we got Mr. DJ Bien-Aime in the house. Can you talk to the people?
Hey, how y'all doing today, man? I'm chilling, man. I'm tired though, but I'm chilling for the most part. How y'all doing today?
Thanks
What's
for coming
up,
on,
man?
man. We appreciate it.
Thought you don't get tired, man.
Well, I don't do that other thing that Kevin Gates talking about. So
Oh man,
Good.
you just getting back from Phoenix?
Nah, I got up from Phoenix like last week, but I don't know. Today's been
Last
tired.
week.
For the most part, I'm good. I'm
Tired.
good to go
Okay.
though. I'm good to go though. I'm good to talk.
Oh yeah,
Football.
yeah. All right, it's cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, man. We'll go off to NFL news. So we got a couple coaching hires. The Colts got their man, and the Cardinals got their man. Matt, talk to me. Which hire you think is good? Which hire you think is not too good?
I mean, you guys said the Colts. The Colts. You didn't want them to get that guy, but they got him. That's not the offense wasn't the reason why the Eagles lost. It was the defense. They quit playing in the second half. That's been the story almost all year long. So it's going to be a scary division ride with four great coaches in the AFC South. So yeah, I hate to see the Colts pick up Satan Steichen. So now move on to the draft, see what he does with it. But yeah, definitely the Colts one.
Okay, Mr. DJ.
Man, this probably not a good answer, but like I don't really believe in crowning. Like I don't know what's a good hire when it comes to hiring coaches, head coaches for the most part, because unless they're proven before at their last stint, like Sean Payton or like Frank Wright, like, we really don't know for the most part. Like people thought Nick Sirianni was a bad hire, based on just simply off his press conference, and some people were kind of put off by Dan Campbell's press conference when he talking about biting kneecaps, and obviously we saw it too, with the Lions. He had them 9-8, and then had Seattle not won that last game, the Lions would have gotten into the playoffs. So I'm kind of big on just letting things kind of unravel and play stuff out, because we really don't know. I think, in all honesty, coaching in the NFL is probably like the most misunderstood or understood, I guess, double under, but understood thing in the entire sport, because like it's not really there's a lot of things you can't really quantify. Like you can point to like some stats, you can point to like players development, but
so
a lot
many
of that is,
so many moving pieces.
there's so many moving pieces that we don't see on a day-to-day. You know what I'm saying? All we do is see them for about 3 hours, and there's just a lot of things that we really don't know unless they tell us. For example, like Eric Bien-Aime and Andy Reid, that play call they had against the Eagles, where they had the fake motion for the touchdown to Kadarius Toney and then back to Sky Moore. Like we would have just thought that was just a breakdown until they explained to us that there was something that they peeped back when the Eagles played the Jaguars. They were like, all right, this is something we can use against them because it's based off what their tendencies are. But we wouldn't know that for the most part. We would just think that, there was just miscommunication, breakdown, something on the players. But in reality, they picked out a tendency that Gannon and that defense has. So I know it's not a good answer to say, like, I'm always going to be in wait and see mode with head coaches, but that's usually me. Because even coaches that we think are good after like 2 years end up not being as good as we thought. Like one example, in my opinion, is Brian Flores. Even though he had 2 winning records his last 2 years in Miami, but when reports started coming out about how he was kind of running Miami, it kind of explained why he was let go by the end of that 3rd year. And same with another example you guys are very familiar with, this Bill O'Brien. Like from a wins perspective, he did seem like a good coach, but obviously people that have been around would deny and disagree that he was a good coach. But if you just look at the resume, that's a really good coach. But there's a lot of things that go into coaching that go beyond just the wins and loss column.
Yeah, most definitely.
Agreed. VT, what you got?
Well, I think fans of the show and anyone who's watched my VT rant videos knows that Shane was my number one choice. Actually, I thought that I really wanted him here. Although I'm very, very happy with D'Amico. But for all the reasons that I said before, which is he's been breaking down film since he was a junior in high school. When he was 15 years old, football has been his life. When he got hurt in college, he immediately looked to how he could continue his life with football, and that was coaching. He helped Justin Herbert. He made Justin Hurts who he was. Justin Hurts was essentially about to lose his job. So I think Shane is responsible for a lot of that, and I think that that the Colts will be a threat if they listen to Shane. And Shane's no joke. A lot of people thought that they were going to pick Jeff Saturday, and we're laughing about the Colts. Unfortunately, I don't think we can laugh about them anymore now that they picked up Shane.
Yeah, agree. I think the Colts hire was the best out of the two. But I like what DJ said. It's a wait and see mode because we all assume that D'Amico's could be a great coach, and we don't know. So I like that wait and see. All right, so on Tom and Shea latest mock, he got the Colts trading up for Bryce Young and the Texans getting C.J. Stroud. And Pro Football Focus have us getting Will Levis. DJ, I want you to talk to us about what do you think of CJ and what do you think of Will Levis, and do you agree with that mock?
I think the last game we saw from CJ Stroud changed a lot of perception on CJ Stroud because like we know he had the capabilities of doing some of those things that he did against Georgia, but he just didn't do it. Like he kind of seemed like a statue in the pocket. Like he had decent feet within the pocket, but he never really used his legs to extend things of that nature. But in the Georgia game, you saw everything. You saw all of that. You saw layered throws. You saw platform throws. You saw playmaking ability. You saw making throws while getting hit. Because we know he's a surgeon. When everything's on script, you kind of want to see what things look like when he's pressured and things kind of grip. And he did his thing. Will Levis is an interesting prospect. I had to dive a little bit more into him. But he's apparently pretty polarizing. Like either people really like him or people really dislike him. It seemed like he didn't really put that much good tape out in 2022. But I think the tape that people really, really rely on is 2021, where he looked like, he could potentially be the number one pick in this class. But obviously, he doesn't look like he's going to be that now. But you never know. They never know. But Will Levis is interesting because he obviously he's big, strong, has the mobility, has the arm strength. For me, the thing that matters the most to me with quarterbacks is can you process? And I think that's one of the hardest things to like determine based off of college film because there's just so many variables. Like I've talked to a lot of front office people that have told me that that's one of the hardest things to diagnose because then you got to put into a whole bunch of tests to see like will they be able to process at the NFL level. Being able to like watch a whole bunch of film as a quarterback doesn't really necessarily tell you that either. Like, I remember I did a story when I was coming to Jets that Zach Wilson studied a bunch of film. Like that's what he did was study film day in and day out. I even wrote a story on that, and like that's one thing that people raved about him coming out of the draft. They said he had like elite mental horsepower, but he can't read a book on the field. You feel me? Like he can't read a defense if you know what I'm saying. If they tell him the defense that they're gonna be in for the most part. So like that's one of the things that matters the most. Because the difference between like being like a good quarterback or very good quarterback is really like can you process at a high level? And if you can process at a high level and you have the traits, then you could take that to the next level. That's when you get like a guy like basically like Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or even Josh Allen to a lesser extent, things like that. So Will Levis, I think when I dive a little bit more into him, that's what I really be trying to parse out. Like how quickly does he get the ball in and out of his hands? How quickly does he read the defense and kind of get the ball where it needs to go? Because that's what matters the most. Because again, if you're a first-round talent, you got the arm strength, you got the athletic ability. It's really more about the cerebral.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so if Nick Casario say, "Hey DJ, out of these 4 first-round quarterbacks, which one would you take and why? Who would you take right now today?"
In all honesty, if Nick hadn't fired 2 coaches back to back, like let's say this was his, let's say we all felt like he had more job security, like beyond like this year and next year, I would say go Anthony Richardson because like I'd rather swing for the fences, get a guy like that has those type of physical. Like his traits are rare. Like Will Levis has good traits, very good traits, but like Anthony Richardson's traits are rare, and like it was clear that Anthony Richardson was put on earth to play quarterback. Like that was his destiny by God to play quarterback in the NFL. But again, like on this play to play, like his highlights are great, but his play to play,
very inconsistent.
It's very inconsistent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then again, it goes kind of into like the study and like, was that more a synopsis or more of a because of the offense he was in and the talent that was around him? Because at Florida, he didn't have very good talent, and was the scheme around him built that way to kind of compensate for the fact that he didn't have NFL wide receivers or even all SEC receivers.
I think last year was the only year he had a quarterback coach. Am I correct?
I believe so. Something like I believe so.
So
like we don't really. There's a lot that kind of goes into why he looked as raw as he did that last year. But again, when you just watch just some of the and another thing that's really good about him is he's a natural mover in the pocket. Mm-hmm. Like he can evade the rush while keeping his eyes downfield with ease. That's something that actually I've been told and I've talked about that actually can't be taught. Like either you have natural feel in the pocket or you don't. Like it's one or the other. You know what I'm saying? That's not something you can improve it, but you can't really get it to the way you need it to be good in that category. So if Nick Caserio had more job security, along with obviously you have DeMeco Ryans, then I would say Anthony Richardson. But obviously, after firing 2 coaches, we got basically 7 wins in 2 years. I would say if I had to choose between Bryce or Stroud, I probably would lean towards Stroud, simply because we've never seen a guy at Bryce's size play quarterback at a high level. Like Bryce's size and athletic ability, because Bryce is he can move around a little bit, but it's not like he's not Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson. He basically has to play exactly like Drew Brees, Tua Tagovailoa to an extent, to be able to have success in the NFL. If he try to play like Kyler Murray, he'll be out the NFL at 2026. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because he's a small guy. You know what I'm saying? He's listed at 6 foot, but he's probably weighing under 6 foot. He'll probably weigh in around 200. But again, he doesn't have the wheels that Russell Wilson had coming out, or what's his face, or Kyler Murray had coming out. But when you remove the physical ability, the physical traits or stature, Bryce kind of does everything you want in a quarterback. So that's what makes it so polarizing. Because Bryce was 6'2" or 6'1", 210, it wouldn't even be a discussion. You know what I'm saying? Bryce does everything you want. Throws with anticipation, has accuracy, has good pocket feel, can play make, can go off script. He can do everything, has good enough arm. It's just that he's tiny. So that's the conundrum, do you want to take that risk? Because again, having covered the NFL team for the past couple of years, I see why size matters in the NFL. It makes sense. This is a gladiator sport. It's a bunch of car crashes, play after play after play. You know what I'm saying? So we see guys' bodies break down left and right, and the guys that can survive for the most part are usually physically built to handle the pounding. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's So that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay. Oh, all right, makes sense. VT.
So I like what you said about AR-15, and it's weird how much hate I get when I promote AR-15. I agree that he's a raw talent, but how many times do you have a 6'4", 248-pound quarterback that can run a 4.4 and throw 70 yards like he can? It's very, very rare. The issue is that he hasn't had a lot of time being quarterback. And as Matt mentioned, he's only had a quarterback coach for 1 year. So I do think that if we ended up drafting him, the issue is that it's going to take him about 2 to 3 years to develop into that NFL-style quarterback.
Right.
But I think one of the benefits there is that even if the line isn't solidified by then, so, say if we get a rookie center, Kenyon Green is still figuring things out. So our line, it can't be as bad as last year, but it's better, but not good enough. Well, he can still make things happen when the play breaks down because he has those legs. Right. And I think that's the positive part, is that even though his passing ability isn't there yet, his wheels are going to be his strength. Yeah. And you can see him. So I used this before, and I think that 3 to 4 years down the road, he could actually be a better Cam Newton down the road. Not right away, but down the road.
Oh, I don't know about that. Cam Newton. I don't know about that, man. Cam Newton was different.
I think he can get there because he's got the physical traits to do it. The thing is, if you put the right coaching staff around him, he's got that ability. But I don't think they're going to take him because I think, listening to the McNair speak, listening to Caserio speak, it's pretty clear that they want to not spend so much time developing. They want to win now as opposed to win 3-4 years down the road. And that's why I think they'll likely take Stroud, which to me seems perfect in a Slowick system, because you don't have to be a great athlete in a Kyle Shanahan West Coast system, right? You just need to be a game manager. You need to be accurate. You don't turn the ball over. And that's pretty much Stroud. And he's 6'3", 220 pounds, so you don't have the size concerns as Bryce Young. So to me, I think we target CJ Stroud. I would love it if we took AR-15. I just don't think we do at all.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Let's get off of Texas news. It was a ESPN article by this very man on this podcast right now.
Me?
And
My goodness, what?
And in that article, claimed that the coaching candidates were told that the team planned on using a second overall pick on the quarterback. Now we got people on Twitter saying it's cap. Some people on Twitter saying interesting. So, Mr. DJ, out of your mouth, tell us a little bit more about that. Elaborate on that for us.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what I was told by people, people that had got interviewed by the Texans. So, like that's kind of, what I'm saying, that's kind of case and closed. But in reality, there's no way you could have watched the Texans last year and been like, oh, nah, we're kind of good at quarterback, or we can run it back with Davis Mills. Davis Mills led the league in picks in the fourth quarter, and he was tied for he was tied for the most picks in the league, and he threw most of them in the fourth quarter, the most important quarter. So we all watched, all the Texans games, and we all know that if you had at least above average quarterback, they're probably not picking in the top 5, because how many games again came down to the fourth quarter, and you just kind of need your quarterback to make a play, right? You got the first Colts game that you're up by 20, or you're up by 17, and your offense goes limp in the fourth. You got the Bears game where your quarterback throws a pick on the last drive, which kind of gives the Bears the win. You got this game you get an overtime and you get a stop, and then your quarterback gets the ball, he fumbles.
And
what I'm saying? That's 3 games right there. We could be talking about 10. We could be talking about 10 and 11, where he's like, maybe we do keep Davis. I mean, we can talk about. There's a bunch of other games. You know what I'm saying, where he just didn't play up to the level that you would want to have confidence that, okay, going to year 3, he's going to be able to take that next leap like Jalen Hurts did, similar to what Tua did until he got hurt, similar to what Josh Allen was able to do. Now, that's kind of how I look at it. But obviously, he didn't give you that, at least some of those signs. So it's kind of common sense, beyond the fact being told, that's kind of common sense. They got to take a quarterback, now, if it was last year's class where there was no quarterback outside of Kenny Pickett, who went in the later half of the first round, then I could understand passing on one. But at the end of the day, right, you gotta make a move. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, agreed.
Okay. So to the people that say that if Davis Mills had more talent, he'll be better. Do you think that?
I mean, if he had more talent, would he be better? Yeah, I think so. He'd be better, but not better to the point where it moves the needle. You know what I'm saying? Could you ever envision a scenario where Davis Mills is top 8 in passing yards per game, touchdowns per game, completion percentage, passing rating? You know what I'm saying? If you can't get a quarterback and be in the top 10 range in some of those important categories from efficiency standpoint, from yards per standpoint, whatever stats you want to go by, and beyond the eye test, then what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So he had enough to give you hope, it's not like he was out there the cover was completely bare. You had 2 Pro Bowl caliber tackles, you had a Pro Bowl running back, you had a former 1,000-yard receiver. If you're a guy that can develop into a franchise type of quarterback, you're going to be able to flash a lot more with that type of supporting cast. And we just didn't see that. Now, did Pep Hamilton help him out enough? Nah. No. Pep Hamilton was kind of I don't want to use the word outdated, but he wasn't creative for the most part. You didn't really see enough motion. You didn't really see enough times where they were putting receivers in positions to attack certain defenses or certain coverage schemes to, give Davis Mills easier throws. Only time we did that was with tight end. That's why you saw Jordan Akins kind of have, a solid year coming off the street. But again, if you got a 1,000-yard receiver, former 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard back, and 2 Pro Bowl caliber tackles, you can show more than what Davis showed. So if you add another receiver, Because basically that's all he's saying. Like, add one more receiver that can possibly go for 1,000 yards, and what we're gonna see Davis Mills become what, a top 20 quarterback? Is that's what we're settling for? Then like, what's the point? And on top of that, like, you know, you're gonna have to, like, if you, let's say hypothetically you keep Davis, you're gonna have to pay, like, you're gonna year 3, and after that you're gonna have to figure out if you're gonna pay him or not. You know, so that's just kind of where I'm at on that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like you mentioned earlier, Hurts, Allen, and Tua. You know, you can kind of see that progression,
Right.
and then when they did get a lot, like Tyreek Hill came, balled out. AJ Brown went to the Super Bowl. I mean, Josh Allen, AFC Championship with Diggs. Like,
right.
I see what you're saying. I completely agree with it.
Right, because like the year before that, like I believe all of them had winning records as starters, and I think, you know, Jalen Hurts, you were seeing the progression. Could the offense put up a lot of points? Josh Allen was able to get to the playoffs, and I think that his second year he had like 29 total touchdowns. I believe Tua had about like 20, but he missed like about, I believe, 4 or 5 games. And like you kind of see a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because you saw like the accuracy, you saw some of the playmaking ability. Granted, it was still kind of raw and kind of rough, but you can still see something towards like, well, if we get one more weapon, maybe, you know. But like Davis Mills just started 15 games and threw, I think, what was it, 16 or 17 touchdowns through 15 interceptions. Like what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like what are we, like what are we talking about here at this point? You know, so
Agreed. Yeah.
Agree. VT, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's clear that Davis Mills wasn't the guy, and I understand about not having enough weapons. I was a Davis Mills stan for a very long time. The bottom line is that there's only so many easy throws that I can witness him missing, and then still try to support him. I mean, at the end of the day, the O line was crap. We were ranked the 26th O line, so I'm not going to say that he had the best O line. We had a bottom 7 wide receiver group, but I'm just going to talk about the moments when that didn't matter. There were moments when there was a clean pocket. There were moments where Nico Collins had separation. There were moments when Brandon Cooks wasn't had separation. You can't blame him for dropping a pass because it was over his head. You know, how many times can you overthrow a receiver and then blame the O line or the receiver or anything else? If he
Or
was,
the OC.
if he was, yeah, or the OC at that point. If he was hitting those guys at the times in those clean pockets, yeah, I could say, okay, maybe you want to give him another shot. But I'll say this: even if we want to, even the people that want to give him a shot, let me just tell him this: why he's going to be in the room. Why not just draft the quarterback? The worst case scenario is that we draft the quarterback for no reason, and Davis Mills balls out on camp and becomes quarterback 1, right? But at least you're protected, because if some miracle happens and Davis Mills does become the guy, well, you flip your first round pick to someone else, and Davis Mills is your QB1. But it doesn't make any sense to not get your quarterback at the second overall pick, because the chances that we'll have this next year, now that we have D'Amico and better our defense, is slim to none. And trust me, I was a Caleb Williams guy, but the moment that we got D'Amico Williams, that idea went to hell. It's now or never at this point. And I say, get your QB at 2, get Stroud. Let's put Davis Mills as QB2 and move on.
Okay, all right. So the Texans hired some more position guys. Matt, I want you to talk about the offensive coordinator, and VT, I want to talk about the defensive coordinator. But I want you guys to talk about what you do like and what you don't like about each one. Matt, go first.
Well, I like Bobby Slowick because, I mean, like we've been preaching the whole thing that Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, West Coast zone blocking offense. I don't know if DJ, maybe you can help me on this. Is it official that do we get Clint Kubiak yet?
Or no, that one's still in the works. So
if we bring in Kubiak, that's just icing on the cake. But that zone blocking, Pierce is going to eat more. It's going to be easier offense for a rookie to learn. Like V said, it's going to be easier offense for Mills just in case the rookie gets hurt. It's going to be a lot better, especially for whatever receiver we bring in. Keenan Allen would thrive in that offense. So Yeah, I'm a big excited on the Bobby Slowick pickup. It was huge. It was big. I would like to see Clint Kubiak, here. But another one that was big was Gerard Johnson. I think he's going to help the quarterback, whoever comes, and Davis Mills as well. So, I mean, right now, on paper, I'm not going to say it's a great staff yet, but on paper, you guys say it's pretty damn good. So, happy about it.
Okay. Hey, so Matt, if you can get Clint, would you be happy with Anthony Lynn as running back coach?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
He knows the system. All I gotta say is Austin Eckler. Ever since Anthony Lynn was there at San Diego, Austin Eckler became a beast. If we get like a Deuce Vaughn, oh, I'm gonna pull a VT talking about Matt Schaub over here. Like it's a wrap. It's done. So yeah, I'll be okay with it.
Okay. All right. I like that. You get Jeff Wilson too, but all right. VT, talk about Mr. Matt Burke.
So, I first I will say that I was so happy that we got Slowick over Cliff. I was ecstatic, and so I just gotta repeat what Matt said. That Slowick with the zone blocking is really gonna help us out in the run game, and obviously help us out with play action, and it's gonna help any quarterback we have, because there's no God at quarterback. There is no Andrew Luck. There is not even a Trevor Lawrence. So when we got to choose a quarterback here, we can choose Stroud and say, even if he doesn't develop into an incredible quarterback, the fact that he's going to be a very good quarterback is still good enough to take us to a Super Bowl in that type of system. But getting to the defense, Matt Burke. My issue with Matt Burke is, although he's very experienced because he has the years behind him, he doesn't necessarily have the success. And I think that, I think that with Burke, I think D'Amico Ryans basically signed his paper saying, "I'm calling plays." So what that means is that D'Amico Ryans is going to put that on him. And initially, I was against that, right? Because I wanted him to spend enough time just doing game management, doing everything else that comes along with it, without having to call plays. But at the end of the day, he was a top defensive coordinator, arguably the top 3, if not top 2, whatever number you want to place on it. So if he's calling plays, you know what? At the end of the day, Matt Burke is a culture body. He's going to be the one nurturing these guys, developing them. He's not going to be calling plays, so I'm fine with it. The D-line coach, Jock, because I'm sorry, I'm going to murder his name. Kaseri. I know I can't pronounce his name. DJ's looking at me like, what the hell? But my issue with him is that we really didn't get to see what he could do, right? Because he didn't really have any linebackers to work with, besides Christian Harris, and even only Christian Harris was only out there for a few games. So
you think Christian Harris better than Kirksey?
I mean, Christian Kirksey, do you count as a starter at this point? Because I don't.
I mean, like Kirksey was solid. I mean, he was drastically better than Christian Harris, though.
Well, I mean, Christian Harris was a rookie, but I mean,
yeah, I get that, but like if we're talking about who he had to work with, like you can't put Christian Harris over Kirksey. Kirksey was drastically better than Harris, man. It wasn't even like.
I mean, the thing is that listen, as a middle linebacker, you better be better, all right? But the thing is that as a middle linebacker, though, he could not fulfill his job, and if he is continuing to be the Mike this upcoming year, I'll be upset. He shouldn't be there at all. So when I say that he didn't have much stuff to work with, because I don't think he'd be a Mike on any other team at all. The only reason he's a Mike is because he's on the Texans. So and so that's why that's why I really can't give an opinion on Jock, and then the linebacker coach Kiffin. So Kiffin had some success, right? Browns and so forth. There's not much I can say there except I have hope, because bottom line again is that D'Amico's going to have a very strong hand on the defensive side here. So at the end of the day, what I was really looking forward to, because we weren't going to get Chris Korsak as D-line coach, that's who I wanted at DC, and since that wasn't going to happen, now it's a matter of D'Amico just running the ship, and I think he'll do that. So I'm not overly upset or anything with their defensive hires. I just know that they're not also the best of the best either. But offensively, We got Bobby Sowick. Very, very happy. I think we will end up getting Clint. I think it's a matter of just a contract. I'm fine with that. Special teams, Frank Ross is back. Awesome. The defensive passing game coordinator, Corey, good. Can't complain about him.
One thing I forgot to mention too is the offensive line coach, Strausser from the Colts. I think that's a very underrated pick. I know everybody, even Colts fans, are like, well, I don't know why you picked him. Other than last year, he was top 10 in offensive line. Last year, you can give it to credit to Jeff Saturday. Matt Pryor had 63% of the sacks. So, I mean, you give that to personnel, but guys, top 10 in 3 years. I mean, you just got to give it. That's going to be great for the zone blocking. So, I think the Strausser pickup for offensive line was great.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to admit this, but it's true. Like, I initially reacted as what the F, because last year their O-line was horrible. But you're right. You know, the previous 3 years, he did do a good job. So I'm hoping
with the quarterback coach too, different quarterback every year, and that doesn't help the line as well.
That is true. So I'm just hoping that this is not like a downward trend for him. That was just an anomaly because the Colts were just really messed up last year. So I agree with you on Chris. And then I think the only other person to talk about is the safeties coach, right, Stefan. And on that, I think that he's also a good pickup. I think that overall the staff looks good. Like I said before, I'm not necessarily ecstatic about the DC hire, but I understand why they did it. I think if Chris would have came here, Matt Burke wouldn't have gotten the job. But I understand that, Chris didn't want to come here. So, at the end of the day, it's still a damn good staff. And I think that with D'Amico leading everything, I think it should be pretty good.
DJ, what do you think?
DJ, talk about Matt a little bit, because I know you are more familiar with Matt Burke than we are. So tell us the good and the bad.
Well, I was gonna ask before I answer. I was gonna ask BT, what makes you think that Ryan is gonna call plays? Because I haven't I can't remember the last time a defensive head coach got hired, and then like they hired a DC, and that DC didn't call plays. Like I remember Saleh got hired in New York, and Jeff Ulbrich called plays. I believe
Lovey did last year, did he not? Didn't he call?
Yeah. Lovey did last year, but I guess because he was
right.
the DC
he
previous year. So right. So yes, I mean, so there's both sides. But to answer your original question, so Matt Burke was with Miami. He did not do a good job in Miami. I mean, there's no way to slice it. Like they were bottom tier in a lot of categories, and he had talent too. It's not like he didn't have talent. He had a rookie, Minka Fitzpatrick. He had Cameron Wake, who had over 100 career sacks. He had I think it was 2018. He had Xavier Howard. He still had Rashad Jones. Like he had some dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he didn't have.
Wasn't Carl Lawson still there?
Who?
Carl wasn't Lawson there at the time?
No. Carl Lawson. No. Carl Lawson wasn't there. It was I think it was somebody else. But regardless though, like he had some talent in the defense. At the 2018, they allowed almost 400 yards per game. Like under no circumstances is that okay. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But I'm big on giving everybody a clean slate no matter what. When it comes to coaching hires, because there's just so much that we don't know that went on behind the scenes that, when you go to a new spot, I'm going to give you a clean slate regardless. But again, his tenure in Miami was not good. Had to put that out there. So, I mean, I think they never were higher than 29th, or no, 20. They were never higher than 27th in scoring defense those 2 years in Miami. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's always going to be – that's why I pay attention to most is scoring defense. So that's going to be a little bit alarming to me. So, but, I mean, again, then you're going off the side, Bobby Slowick. I've had a lot of people tell me he's super smart. I've had people tell me that the reason why he went from defense to offense was because Kyle Shanahan said, you're too smart for defense, come to the offensive side of the ball. So I heard really good things about him. We'll see, though, because he's never called plays before. Like, it sounds good until you have to call plays. And when people start picking up on your tendencies, when you like to call certain plays, on certain looks, and certain downs, things like that, how do you counter that? So obviously you gotta give him a clean slate because he's never called it. So he seems like a promising young coach, but we'll see.
That's why I said on paper it looks fantastic, but like you said, you never know what's gonna happen.
Nah, because in New York, they Mike LaFleur was considered a rising coach, was considered a guy that could potentially become a head coach in the NFL after the 2021 season, and he got fired at the end of 2022 season. You know what I'm saying? And obviously with the Rams now, so he'll probably end up being a head coach eventually. But it just goes to show you how things can really change for you quickly in a blink of an eye. So that's why I'm always hesitant to like crown coaches. Like I kind of want to see a body of work because you can have one good year. Which is why I respect Ben Johnson for saying, I'm not ready to be a head coach yet. Let me wait one more year and do it one more time and then go from there.
Kind of like that Byron Leftwich, like he was a head, to be a head coach in several places and then gets fired from Tampa Bay. So yeah, I agree with you. All right.
Okay. So DJ, I like what you said about clean slate, and everything. Tell me, if you was a GM, would you hire Eric Bien-Aime?
Yeah, probably. If I was young, I'd probably hire him. But without question, I do wonder what is interviewing, like how he is in interviews. Because again, the resume just gets you to the door, but the resume isn't gonna get you the job. So I am curious about what goes on in that. But when it comes to the plight of black coaches in the NFL, this is just part of the war that they're fighting for the most part. Because again, that resume that he has. It's insane. You can't really use the Patrick. People say, well, he had Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. I mean, Josh McDaniels had teams banging down his door, and he was coaching Brady and had Bill Belichick. People still banging down his door. He was able to renege on the Colts and then eventually get another job a few years later, and he was still bad at that job. You know what I'm saying? So, and we saw what he did in Denver, and he wasn't good there.
I was about to say, and horrible at Denver, just brand new to the ground.
He drafted Tim Tebow in the first round. So. So me, yeah, obviously, but at the end of the day, I'm not a GM, so it is unfortunate, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully he eventually gets a head coaching gig one day, and goes from there.
Yeah, hope so. Because the interviewing thing, anybody could cap in the interview, but can you get on the field and call plays and give results? That's what's more important to me. But all right, so this is a segment of the show, DJ, that we like to ask our guests questions. You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that, of course.
All right, so I'm gonna go first, then we're gonna go Matt, then we're gonna go VT. All right, I got 3 questions for you. One, who's faster in your prime, you or Cameron Miller? 2, who has the worst fans, us or the Jets?
Cameron Miller.
Cameron Miller from Louisville.
Oh, hell, man, what?
From Louisville.
Bro, he is sliding man, what? I could have only wished to be as fast as he was. I have some wheels now, but he's special. He's different. Now he running 20.2 indoor. 20.2 indoor is something different, brother. That is, you won't ever see. I'm not one of those guys who's gonna lie about my athletic, prime or whatever. I don't have to lie about it. You know what I'm saying? I have some impressive, accolades on my resume, so I don't gotta lie about it. But yeah, him. So I mean, he in a whole different category. Him and Sterling, man, them boys sliding. I can't even lie about that. Now to the second question, it's probably Jet fans. Jet fans are insane. So it's not even close. No disrespect. But I respect y'all because y'all are more how I would want fans to be. There's nothing wrong with being rabid and things like that. But y'all are okay, if the team is bad, man, I'm gonna go to a brunch in Houston and vibe out for the Sunday instead of wasting my time at NRG. You know what I'm saying? If you good, I'll show up. If you're not, all right, I'm gonna let you know that you're not by not showing up. And I will, chill on the side and not be fully checked in until you guys are, showing me that I need to be checked in. I respect that. I respect that way more. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll do the same thing. Jet fans, they're just always checked in. Like some might check out, but they're always checked in. So that there's pros and cons to that, But I would say like they're I wouldn't say worse. I would say they're just crazier.
Okay, and makes sense. All right, last one. So you from South Florida? Who's the best rapper to come out of Florida?
Kodak Black.
Kodak Black.
Kodak Black, man. What you mean? Now, I used to be a big Rick Ross fan now. But I'm going Kodak Black over Rick Ross now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I grew up with both of them. Like Rick Ross used to be my favorite rapper of all time at one point. I don't think he's the best, obviously, but I used to be my favorite rapper of all time. But I don't know. I just been bumping more. Like,
Trick Daddy?
Nah.
No,
I mean, Trick Daddy cool, but like,
I got
like Trick Daddy can't, he can't rap with Ross and Yak and some other raw wave or like he respected though. Like I'm not gonna act like Trick Daddy a bum. Like Trick Daddy, he a legend.
He's an OG, he's an OG.
He OG, but he not touching those two guys I mentioned and Yak and Ross. But obviously, best for me. Yes, Yak, without question. No debate for me. No debate at all.
All right, makes sense. Okay, Matt, ask your questions.
Well, I got one question and one kind of statement. We had a host or a guest on earlier this month, Biggie Fig. He wanted me to tell you that the baby's still mid.
The baby?
Little baby.
Yeah, little baby.
Little baby or the baby?
Little baby is still mid.
Still mid?
Yeah, he wanted me to tell you that he's still mid.
That's a crazy statement. That's a crazy statement. I can't. Mid? Oh, nah, that's a crazy statement. It's so funny, like me and Jonathan Alexander at the Chronicle, like we used to be in the locker room and like we'll ask players like who win a versus battle between Kodak and Lil Baby. It was like 50-50 in there. So I don't know. I can't say Lil Baby, man. I remember I had a mini versus battle with him. Well, I played Kodak songs. Jonathan and my homeboy Tashawn Reed from the Athletic who covered the Raiders. He was playing Lil Baby songs, and I ain't gonna lie, I quickly saw like, that would be a Titanic battle. But Lil Baby ain't mad, man.
Well, my question is, it is Black History Month, so I want to kind of get who was your influence to proceed your career that you're on.
That's a good question. Man, I would say like the most influential person to me as a kid was probably like he works for I Am Athlete now, but he used to be at the Sun Sentinel. He was a Dolphins columnist named Omar Kelly. He probably had the most influence on my from a distance my career in the sense that like I kind of wanted to be similar to him, where like I didn't only just study like the narratives around football. I kind of wanted to know the game too. Granted, I played to it, like that helps too. But like just being able to talk beyond just like the cliches and narratives and have strong opinions, like because he had very, very, very strong opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like something was trash, he would just call it trade, call it what it is, and deal whatever the backlash was. So growing up, I used to read a lot of his work and wanted to emulate some of that. And then obviously, like once I got out of college, I would say like Rob Parker, who used to work for ESPN, FS1, he's at Fox Sports, he does a lot of things. He had a very, 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 very big hand in my career too. Along with Tyler Dragon, who works for USA Today on the national side covering football. Like those three guys to show like they had like massive, massive impacts on my career. Like I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in this position had I not met those three guys. You know what I'm saying? I met Rob and Tyler before I met Omar, but Omar already had like indirectly influenced the way I wanted to go about covering teams or off rip. So I would say those three without question.
Awesome.
Okay, hey Matt, you done?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, VT, take us home.
All right. Well, before I ask my question, I just got to say the greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th. So I just want to say props to Biggie. Yes, he's the greatest rapper of all time.
Biggie?
Yes, he's my favorite rapper of all time.
Yeah, he could be your favorite, but he ain't the best of all time. Favorite, you feel me? He ain't the best of all time.
DJ, look, man, me and Chris all been going back and forth with him.
we've been fighting about this for weeks.
we almost brought the band up for it. No, I'm just kidding.
So I read that you are a huge Madden fan. So
Yeah.
I want to know if you were given the rankings to Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and JMS, the center from Minnesota, what would those rankings be and why?
So Bryce, man, that's tough. I probably get him like a 70. Cause like rookies don't get good. Rookies don't get good. They don't get good quarterback ratings. So I probably give him like a 70. I probably give Bryce a 70, a 74. CJ 73. The center from Minnesota, I don't know who that is. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I ain't gonna even act like I know who that is. I don't even know who that is.
John Michael Smith.
So that's kind of that. But
okay.
yeah, no, I'm a big Madden fan. Like, I'm in a couple Madden leagues. I'm actually about to join another one. Like, it's weird. In season, I don't play as much. It's weird. Like, I'll play early when the game comes out. Then when season starts, when season's like midway, I kind of like fall back. And then once the season's about to be done, like I rev it back up. Like I get real into it.
So here's another question: Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation all day.
Oh man, I was about to say let's throw some sticks, but I'm an Xbox guy. I can't.
Well, that's unfortunate, man. That's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? PlayStation been surpassed Xbox a long time ago. Now, back when it was Xbox and you had PS2, all right, cool. Xbox 360, all right, cool. But once you got the P3 to the P4, like Xbox. All they did was go to Xbox One. Like, it's not really, and it's no real competition. You know what I'm saying? Everybody get the P6 in a couple years. So I'm just saying.
VT, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So one more before we get up out of here.
Cool.
DJ, what made you come to Houston?
You see the company at work? You see the company at work at?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that says it all, brother. But also on top of that,
okay.
On top of that, though, beyond just ESPN, I mean, Houston is a great place to live. If you're young, you young and you elevating in your career. Like, Houston is a place where like you can settle down, build some wealth, possibly build a family. You know what I'm saying? Like, New York is a good place to live, but like it's just super expensive, man. Like most of your money going to your bills, to be honest. So Houston, it doesn't have that same feeling. Like like housing, like my apartment here is pretty spacious compared to New York, where I'm over here like sharing. Like, I had like 3 roommates with a small room, and I remember when I moved in my apartment last year in 2021. Well, obviously now it's 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. Dang, time be flying. But anywho, when I moved to my apartment in 2021 in April, I was paying like $1,275, but I had 3 roommates, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, and day 2 in there was a dead rat in the kitchen. So I'm cool. I'm cool, man. I ain't going back there.
Okay. All right. Damn, I got another one. So since you've been in H-Town, what's like some of the restaurants you tried that you like, or type of food you tried that you like?
So I think the Mexican food out here kind of overrated. No. I tell you right. The barbecue out here is kind of overrated. I thought the barbecue would be a little bit better. Yeah, I thought the barbecue would be a little bit better. The Mexican food is good. I'm tripping. I'm gonna say barbecue is a little overrated out here. I think there's just too many like fast food barbecue spots. Like, I like barbecue where like like when I went to North Carolina last season in 2021 to cover like the Jets versus Panthers game in North Carolina, obviously in Charlotte. I went to this one barbecue spot, man. Those ribs, that's one of the best ribs I had in a little minute, and I just haven't found anything that came close to that, because like I feel like a lot of this stuff is kind of like fast food-ish barbecue, and I don't really like fast food-ish barbecue. But steakhouses like Fleming's on West Alabama, ooh wee, man. Like the steak there was so good, I said I'll never ever try to cook steak ever again myself.
Now I gotta ask him a question, Crenshaw. Medium rare or well done?
Medium rare. Yeah, medium
There
rare.
you go. Thank
Yeah, I'm a
you.
man. I'm a man. You feel me? I'm a grown man, you know. If I'm gonna eat steak, I gotta put my life at jeopardy just a little bit. No hesitation. You know.
What's your
man.
DJ? What's your thoughts on a kolache? Have you had one yet?
On a what?
A kolache. Have you had one yet?
No, I haven't had one yet. I don't even know what that is.
Man, you need
Oh,
to go to the donut store and ask for a kolache. I'm telling you,
Donut store, go to ask for all right, for sure. Okay, for sure.
It's basically like a ham and cheese, pig in a blanket, but a lot better.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so we're gonna end the show right there. DJ, can you tell the folks where they can find your amazing work and all the great things you got coming up in the future, off season, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, no, you can find work at ESPN, Texans blog, find my Twitter, DJ Bien-Aime. I'll probably be more active on Twitter coming back in a few weeks, about in a few weeks or maybe like a week or so. After the season, I kind of like to get away a little bit and then let it ramp back up. Because with the coaching search, that kind of you kind of had to worry about that a little bit. But yeah, I'll probably be a little more active there, just kind of interacting with more fans and just getting their thoughts on stuff. But yeah, man, that's where you can find me. You know what I'm saying? Got some more stuff in the chamber that I'm working on story-wise. But, it should be a fun offseason. I know I said I would draft CJ Sharp, but in reality, I want them to draft Bryce because Bryce brings more notoriety to the Texans. So, Bryce is good for business. Bryce is good for business.
Yeah, because he's already in Dr. Pepper commercials and Dr. Pepper's in Texas. So, okay, Matt.
He is good for business.
Before I drop my social media, DJ, are you coming to KC for the draft?
Nah. I'll be here because they're gonna have Nick Casario and D'Amico. They'll be speaking right at the end of the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Killing us, DJ. We're all gonna go to the draft. I live up here in KC. We're all gonna go to the draft. So I was gonna show you.
It's gonna be fun.
Show you some good food up here, but I do it on a different day. But you can find me at A1 Day One Texans, and on Sunday nights you can also find me on the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast, where I talk trash to the Titans, Jaguars, and the Jeff Saturday Colts.
Jeff Saturday
Colts. All right, VT, tell me your handle.
You can find me at Brown Chubby Bear. And if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. It's Texans Fan Battle. You'll find not only our podcast there, but my series of Another VT Rant.
All right. And y'all can find me at Fifth Ward Crenshaw everywhere on all social media. Appreciate you, Mr. DJ, for coming on. Happy Black History Month. Hopefully Texans could turn this shit around because I'm tired of losing. And we out, baby.